Bakit naman hindi? Ako nga,
presents its own set of problems.
All the young people I meet in our country.
You know, the work is just so much. So
rescuing and taking care of these
And some of them get promoted to indoor cats.
Rina po, I'm a dog lover as well as a cat lover.
How do we make people see naman their side?
Alam, when you think about it, so
Yes.
please, Stella. No, it's never them. Magandang umaga mga kabiyayan. Nandito po kami with President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. She has 15 dogs. Kamusta na po, Presidente? Okay. We're so happy po to be here with you and to share your passion for animals. When did this start po?
Oh, I can't remember when, so it must have been before my age of memory, maybe before I was 3 years old. Because ever since I had my memory, we had pets. We had a dog named Spotty because it had spots, and then a cat named Miming.
So even a cat.
Oh, yes,
so
yes.
so your parents were mahilig din po.
My grandmother was the one who loved dogs. I mean, she lived in Iligan, and she would come back and forth between Manila and Iligan. So when I would go to Iligan with her, we also had a nice police dog there named Hitler.
Hitler. That's really great. So, and this you carried throughout your life po?
Yes, because then when I got married to my husband, his family loves dogs also.
So wala.
We
No chance.
reinforced each other.
Oh, that's great. And growing up with your children.
Yes, they all have dogs.
Up to now po?
Yes, they have their own dogs. Not sharing with us. They have their own, yes.
Okay. And how are you po in terms of, do you walk them? How do you interact po with them?
When we go out to pray, because we have an image of Our Lady of Fatima in the garden. So when we go out to pray, especially if it's in the morning, then that's the time when all the dogs are released from their houses and they all run around.
Running around. Happy to see you.
Yes.
You know, I'm sure you won't remember because that was such a long time ago, and you're always meeting people. We met in a dinner. You were still VP. And I asked you, how do you manage?
Yes.
And your response was, I do my best and I let God take care of the rest.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm just seeing that there's a very strong,
Yes.
some sort of spiritual
Yes.
basis in
That's
your
right.
life that
That's
seems
right.
to carry you through.
That came from my father, and it's still my motto up to today.
Yeah, so you have a Fatima here. When I went to your restroom here, there's a big image. All over I see your
that one
affinity.
there, I think, is Mary Mediatrix.
Oh, okay. Do you when you think about this, how you deal with the animals, do they give you some sort of, what do they give you and what do you feel?
The saying, a dog is a man's best friend, is true. Our dogs are very affectionate towards us, especially my husband's favorite dog. The name is Ecru because
I saw Ecru.
Her color is Ecru. And she's the indoor dog. She's our indoor dog.
Yeah.
So she's very, very affectionate.
Yeah.
So that they all give us affection.
Yeah. Actually, that's why when we had children, we also had dogs because we felt that the dogs taught our children unconditional love.
Yes.
Yes, and this is
That's right.
something that we kind of pass on. So, we were recently in Pampanga.
Yes.
And we were very much into spay and neuter, so that's kapon, to reduce the population.
Yes.
So that the budgeting of the government can catch up. Because right now, there's an 8 billion peso need for vaccines po. Just for rabies,
Yes,
because the
yes.
population is growing exponentially. So we managed to work with the budget on the Senate bill, and it passed. And we're trying to have a three-pronged approach po. So, spay and neuter to control the population, saturate and effectively pinpoint hot areas, and then education. There seems to be really a lack of education or awareness that campaigns. You know, there is no animal welfare law at the Congress level po. Do you think that's something
Oh,
you would?
I'll be happy to file a bill if you can draft one for me.
Yes po, we will do that.
Yes.
We really want to work hand in hand. We see that the country has many issues.
Yes.
And each issue, they always say, oh, it's not a priority, this and that. But as you know, as we're discussing, animals and humans, especially companion animal, there's a very strong connection that must not be forgotten. Especially animal, when they see kasi animal welfare, President, they miss, some lawmakers, some veterinarians are very averse to it. But actually, animal welfare and animal health, which is food security, is very closely related. So thank you so much. We will help you. We will be part of what you're doing, and we'd really like to thank you for your service to the country. Is there other things that you think about aside from what is your main advocacy po in throughout your life? Have you had
Throughout my life, well,
Yes.
I'm a doctor of economics. As you
Yes.
know, I was the teacher of your husband.
Yes po.
So that's been my professional work even before I entered politics.
correct. And is there anything that you're trying to push right now?
Right now, because I'm a member of Congress, I push the things that are important to my district and my province. For instance, just yesterday I was in the Senate and they passed the bill, which was already passed in Congress before this, to make Pampanga the culinary capital
Yes.
of the Philippines. And then I am also pushing for the basis, the Clark and other economic zones that they should have, because like Clark, it's only leasehold that you can have, but like the other bases are that way too. I have a bill which already passed the House again and is now being defended in the Senate to allow a certain portion of the land to be alienable and disposable for housing, so that there'll be more young, especially the young people coming in to do the IT.
Opo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also on the not specifically for my district, but I also have a bill on medical cannabis,
Yes.
which has already passed the House and is being defended now in the Senate by Senator Robin Hood Padilla. And then I have a bill also to develop malunggay,
Yes.
which is now in the committee level in both houses. But the other day, we were able to pass that bill in the committee level.
That's great. You know, cannabis, CBD oil is
Yes.
used a lot with pets as well. For the neurological problems, etc. So I'm really glad you mentioned that, because it's really important that we find alternative
Yes.
medicines that actually are indigenous to the Philippines, di ba?
yes.
So malunggay is one of them that we give
Yes.
dogs that don't have that cannot lactate
I see.
for whatever reason, from
Yeah,
trauma
even
and
humans.
correct.
At least it's anecdotal that malunggay helps them also.
Yeah,
for
so
their breastfeeding.
there are all these there are multi-pronged and connections throughout. Is there other things that you're a very fulfilled woman. You've led a very purposeful life.
Thank you.
Is that something that was inculcated because your father was the president, or is that something in the family?
Yes. My father, in meal conversations, it's usually when I was young, it's talking about the people and what the people need. So it was inculcated.
Actually, that's what our friend Lilo was saying, that she loves you very much.
She's my goddaughter.
Yeah, and she feels that you're strict but you're loving. So there's a tough love, which is more normally for the Filipino women, I find. Do you find this? I find, I don't know, every time I'm talking to a veterinarian or where there's a problem, the LGU veterinarians, the women, they want to fix things. They want to, so it seems you're like this as well. Po.
Well, not that I've noticed that we're unique regarding that, but we are really, the women in the Philippines really are statistically very empowered. We are number one in having closed the gender equity gap in Asia. And in fact, when I was president, we were number 6. We're not number 6 anymore in the world, but we are number 1 in Asia. So it's we really are a very woman-empowered country.
Yeah, when Tito was through the bank funded the studies and made these 2 books, which we'll send po to you.
Thank you.
It's Lumina Pandit. It has all the books from UST, and it's written to see, Tito wanted to kind of push, what can we be proud of? Because in our history, there's always martyrs. Parang it's all tragedies, but what can we be proud of? And one of that is the fire piston that the Filipinos actually invented. And there is a document that says that before the Spanish came, a woman was able to sell her property in Tondo. Way before. So that means she could own property.
Yes.
So this is, again, a current thing that I keep thinking about, that the women in the Philippines really have this kind of power.
Yes.
And in animal welfare, I wanted to let you know, it's mostly run by women. So some of the men get very parang scared. I'm not a feminist, but I'm just saying that there's certain DNA that a woman has, that she manages all these things. And I see in our country the strength that women can have, and I think it's coming from being able to have children, etc. There are other things that we think about often in animal welfare, and there's legislation, but there's also the need to understand Republic Act 8485. When you were president in 2007, they enacted the Rabies Act.
Yes.
That's another law that needs looking into po.
Okay.
Yeah. So would you also be willing to look into that po?
I would rather
Yes,
that
po.
those who have looked at it
Yes.
already draft
something and then-
amendments.
Sige po.
And then when so that it can be filed right away, and then when the bill is heard, that's when you talk about what's lacking in the current legislation.
Okay, so narinig po nyo yun, all of you need to give your inputs, because this has to be a community community affair, because again, it involves animals. Do you know, kasi they're impounding a lot nowadays because of the rabies scare.
How sad.
Yeah, and there are about 30,000 dogs that get euthanized monthly in the Philippines.
How sad.
Yeah, and so that was why I was a resource speaker during the Senate, one of the Senate hearings on animal welfare, and I said, again, going to economics, has anybody studied the economic the economic relationships, the impounding, all of that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, and so there's a cost to that. So whenever I go to, I'm like a saleswoman. Every time I go to the mayors, to the thing, I say, listen, us, Biaya Animal Care, it's a social entrepreneurship, by the way. It's not a foundation. So I set up a hospital and 2 clinics, and the proceeds of that go to doing what we do. So we're over 114,000 kapons in 2 years. And I always say, what does that mean? The narrative is, So I'm talking to, trying to sell the product. So it's like, the narrative is you have 1 million less kittens and puppies that will be born.
Yes.
1 million less anti-rabies vaccines for the animals. 1 million less bite incidences, which are very high. 1 million less possible human vaccines that are needed. 1 million less impounding. 1 million less everything, right? So I feel that, like you, being in economics, the numbers are there, but the narrative has to be understood. And there's this other thing, why Tito was very instrumental in saying, no, Rina, you do a social entrepreneurship. You need to make it sustainable because we're very much a culture that asks all the time for something. And so you need to learn the way and show the way. Do you also have these kinds of thoughts about social entrepreneurship?
Yes, social entrepreneurship is a very, very important thing today. Because, you know, I mean, a long time ago, it was not believed that you can earn from activities that are good for society directly rather than indirectly, like hiring employees. So it's a very important cause today to encourage more and more social entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and then subject matter experts. You know, in 2013, 14, 15, I helped Sulu because I work a lot with the Marines, and we set up a co-op there for coffee, and we won. Cynthia Villars, Senator Cynthia Villars, she has a prize she gives every time. Is the only BARM co-op to win.
Oh, congratulations!
But you know, it was so hard to talk to them to say, well, this is how you prune the tree, you know, this is how you prune the bush, it was really, really difficult. But now they're on their own now and they're selling, you know. So I was wondering, are there bills with regards to these kinds of things to help set up social entrepreneurs?
No, I'm not aware. What I know is that there are a lot of bills, or even laws already that promote micro and small and medium enterprises.
Yes, okay.
But they don't have to be specifically social enterprises.
Okay. Yeah. Now we're thinking more and more. There are people going into animal rescue and they're asking for donations. But I think it would be better if they could be self-sustaining.
That's good. Yes.
You know, because at the moment there are, I think, 24 million dogs, 15 strays, 15 million strays. So you cannot take in the system and, you know, trying to find this balance because people, sometimes they're upset with me that I help the pounds, and it's like, at the moment, they have to do their job, which is, you know, get...
Exactly. I don't think that they enjoy doing it.
No, that's what I say. So, you know, there's always this need for balance, and I feel women have that capability because they have to balance the family. Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to say with regards to animals, to our audience, for you know, for your big heart? People don't know much about you in that, you know, they look at you and they hold you up on a pedestal because of everything that you've done. You're a very strong woman, but there's a soft side to you, obviously, because of the animals.
Yes.
And I guess you are free, in a way, to show them because there's nothing. The love is... you know, without boundaries.
Yes.
So is there something you'd like to say po with regards to all these things?
You know, I read somewhere that if you have pets in the house, like dogs and cats, in fact, the children grow up more resilient and less prone to asthma and allergies.
Correct.
Because they get used to that. So there is really... aside from the love that you get from your pets, there are really also other benefits for the family. And I also read somewhere that it's good for you to have pets because animals have a shorter lifespan than humans. And when our pets die, we grieve. But the grief prepares us also for the time when our parents die, our grandparents die, our siblings die. So it also helps us to learn how to cope with grief. So there are so many
So
good
many things. Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
yes.
And that's, I always say grief is a measure of how much you loved.
Yes.
So you can always think of, I'm grieving this much because I was able to love
Yes,
this
yes,
much.
yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much po.
Okay.
We don't want to take much of your time. I know you're very
You're
busy.
most welcome. I'll wait for your draft bills.
Yes po, we
Okay.
will. Thank you so much
Okay.
po.
All right, thank you
PGMA,
too.
maraming salamat. Maraming salamat mga kabiyaya. Hello mga kabiyaya. We are here to discuss anything under veterinary services, rescues, adoptions, TNVR, animal welfare, responsible pet ownerships. Anything and everything as well in between. Kung nais po ninyong magiging isang biyaya sa aming mga alagang aso't pusa, please comment below or message our Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you. Maraming salamat.